I was walking and I came across a Russian girl.
I signed contract with model agency, so
Okay.
I'm a model.
Oh, okay. How about I get you a milk tea? Because since you were so nice to me, like, do you like milk tea?
Yes.
Okay, how about we go? I'll get you milk tea over there. Okay, we can like get milk tea. Which one would you like? 'Cause this one's like a. Okay guys, so you watched the clip, you see me interacting with beautiful women, having an amazing time over here in Asia, and probably want that for yourself, right? Like probably you want the attention, you want the affection, you want the compatibility that you can have with a beautiful woman. But right now you might be in the States, you might feel invisible, stressed out, feel like you're not getting the respect you deserve from the ladies there. I can understand the feeling because I went through the same thing. It wasn't that long ago that I was in the exact same position. Because probably you're in the States, you're scrolling on the apps, you know, you're not getting any reaction from the ladies you want. You might be out of shape, frustrated, stressed out, and you see the life that other guys are living overseas. I've been overseas for 12 years myself. I see the dramatic impact that my dating life has had from going overseas. And you might want that for yourself as well. You might want to feel like, hey, I need to go to a place where I get some actual respect and I get the ladies, you know, coming to me rather than me always chasing after them. And while going overseas does multiply your options, you can't 100% depend on your passport to save you. Because if you don't have any ability to relate to people, no communication skills, you know, if your fashion is trash, if you're out of shape, you know, if you're not a very just generally attractive person, if you don't know how to attract people, then going overseas probably isn't going to save you that much. You might just get taken advantage of overseas. So if you leave the West and you're really undisciplined, you're probably going to be the same person overseas. Like going to a new country doesn't 100% change you. It kind of just multiplies who you are. So if you're kind of a slob in America, really sloppy, never took care of yourself, you might just multiply that overseas. But if you have a decent level of attractiveness, if you have things going for you, that also gets multiplied, and it can be really advantageous. You can multiply things in your favor. So the internet kind of sells you a fantasy of, you know, just go overseas and all your problems will disappear. You'll never have any issues with ladies. You know, you'll be treated like a king as soon as you step off the plane. That can be true in some instances, but for the vast majority of guys, you know, unless you're just paying for women's affection, you're probably going to still need to be able to attract women. Because if you don't have anything going on for you, you know, if I multiply 0 times 100, it's still going to be 0. But if you got like, you know, something like 5 out of 10, if you got 5 out of 10 on the scale, multiply that times 100, then we're talking, right? But if you got a 0, man, you're kind of still going to be in the same boat that you are in the States, except you're probably going to be spending a lot more of your cash and, you know, be running out of money and getting taken advantage of. And that's a dirty secret they really don't want to tell you. Like, they want to tell you that all your problems are going to be fixed when you go overseas, that all the problems are 100% on American women. And I'm not going to lie, there definitely are some cultural issues we have with dating in the States. But also, you got to take responsibility for yourself, man. If you don't have anything going for you that a woman would find attractive, then you can't expect for women to be all over you. You can't expect for women to give you king treatment and to follow your leadership, you know, to submit to you if you aren't the kind of guy that a person should submit to. Because you can't control everything, right? Like, you can't control the dating culture. You can't control other people's behavior, but you can control what you bring to the table. So, you know, if you have like some kind of language ability, if you're kind of a cool guy who knows how to connect with other people emotionally, if you have some kind of skill that you provide, something interesting, like maybe you're a DJ, you play some cool music, those are all things that you can bring to the table. And we do have guys who come overseas and they do become bitter, right? Like, you see these stories, these horror stories of men who got taken advantage of. They came overseas, thought everything was going to be peaches and cream. Then their bank account gets wiped out. Now they're on the internet telling you, oh, don't come to this country. The women in this country are trash. Those men thought that their passport was going to save them. In reality, it didn't. They didn't have anything that women desired besides the cash in their wallet and their bank account. And once that got drained, the women, they bounced. They got the heck out of there. So when I left America, I wasn't in the best position. I wasn't some, you know, high value expat, a high value man who, you know, all the women were chasing after. I was $15,000 in debt. I had an engineering degree. I could have worked a stable job and, you know, done that path and maybe got some pats on the back for, oh man, you're working a high paying engineering job. But I decided to do something different. You know, I decided to go overseas. I got a job teaching English. My first job wasn't perfect, but it put me in a different environment. And in that different environment, I was able to blossom. I was able to become the guy I really wanted to be. And I was put around different types of women, and that was a great thing. I learned how other cultures worked. I learned how to, improve my communication. I learned different language abilities. And I got put in a position where I could pursue different interests and hobbies that made me a more interesting person. Like, I started doing art. I was a painter for many years, had my own art studio in my home. I had all these things that made me a much more interesting person than I was in the States, and that made me a much more attractive person. So I do agree that going overseas can amplify your life, but only if you use it as a vehicle of amplification. If you're hoping for it to do all the work for you, then you're probably going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. You're probably not going to be the man that you could be. But if you use going overseas as a way to, broaden your prospects and give you more options and allow you to use what you have to the fullest capacity, that's a great way to use going overseas. So there's this really amazing book by Marcus Aurelius called Meditations. Now, Marcus Aurelius, he wasn't some dating coach. He was actually a Roman emperor, one of the most powerful people on the planet at that time. And one thing he wrote about in the book was you want to give up your stress over things that you can't control. Don't worry about things that are outside of your control. Now, that sounds simple, but that's the complete opposite of what most guys do. Like, most guys that complain about the dating situation, they complain about the American system, they complain about the government, the president, etc. They complain about all these things that are somewhat outside of their individual control, and they waste all this energy being upset about stuff that they could be putting that energy towards things they do control and things that could really move their life forward. So when you ask them, like, hey, did you learn anything today? Did you amplify your skills? Did you look for a better job? Did you make a plan to go overseas? Most of these guys would say no, but they spend all their time, getting upset about the behavior of this random person that doesn't probably care that much about them, that they have very little influence over. They spend all their energy getting upset and agitated about these people. Like, the guy who spends his time focusing on things he can't control, he's probably going to become bitter. But the guy who focuses on things he can control and focuses on getting better at those things, he becomes dangerous. Like, he can impact the world. He can build better skills. He can build things. He can motivate people. He can really change the world and impact it way more than the guy who's just bitter and complaining all the time. So while you might not be able to control the dating market, you can control your preparation. You might not be able to control the culture or the place you go to, but you can learn the language. You might not be able to control the economy, but you can learn skills that make you useful in that economy. There are a lot of things you have control over. You don't just have to be a victim of circumstance. And you need to have a perspective of, I can do things myself, because if you are 100% dependent on the outside world being correct and doing you right 100% of the time, you're gonna be disappointed a lot. Like, you might experience some hardships overseas. Like, things aren't gonna be perfect. Like, you might get overcharged sometimes. You might pick the wrong landlord. You might get a bad job and you gotta change jobs. You might end up in those kind of situations, but you got to have the resilience and the perspective that, hey, I can control my destiny. I'm not the victim of circumstance. I control what I put out there, and so I can affect the circumstances that I meet. So yeah, there's no denying that going overseas does have a lot of advantages when it comes to dating, but it also matters like who you are as a person, because certain people will get certain benefits that other people can't get. And if you're really putting your best foot forward and you're trying to be the best guy that you can be, you're more likely to get much better results compared to a guy who just, he comes over and he's not really trying to do much with his life. He's just kind of a lazy piece of crap. You're going to get a lot more out of a situation than he's going to get. So overall, if you want like a vehicle to help you get overseas, to develop yourself and put yourself in position to learn a lot of things that you can develop as a person, I highly recommend English teaching. English teaching is the fastest way for us American men to get overseas making money consistently. I've been doing it for 12 years. It's a great field, tons of job opportunities, tons of, you can have a great lifestyle, live freely overseas. You don't have to worry about the stress in the States. You'll be put in a better environment with probably women that suit your taste more than the women where you are now. Like, all you need is a job that gets you overseas and puts you in a position where you can expand. And there are so many opportunities like that within English teaching. So for a lot of guys, that's English teaching. English teaching is the fastest way to get overseas making money. I highly recommend it if you want to get overseas fast, like from 30 to 90 days. That's the typical timeline for a lot of guys to get overseas fast, making money, living this kind of lifestyle. This lifestyle is not rare. Like, this English teaching lifestyle, I've seen lots of other teachers live it. You have lots of free time to pursue different interests and hobbies, develop yourself as a person. I've been a great benefit of all the free time I have to do these different things, and it gives me a lot of time for dating, partying, etc., meeting different people. Highly recommend it. So yeah, when you get overseas, you can be put in a position to really improve your life, and you can stop blaming the dating market, because you come over with the intention of giving value yourself. You're a high value person. You become much greater value than you are in the States. Like, moving overseas, your value gets multiplied, and that's a great thing. Guys get to experience what it's like to be a high value man in a country. A lot of guys never experienced that before, so when they get overseas, their mind gets blown by how women treat them. So yeah, stop making excuses, man. Get fit, get in shape, get your money stable. Preferably try to adapt and learn the different cultures of these countries you go to. It can definitely help if you learn the language. I'm a big fan of learning languages. And yeah, if you want to take action to get overseas, I offer a free 15-minute call. We can get on a call to find out how you can use English teaching to get you overseas fast, living this lifestyle. I put in the link in the pinned comment and description. Click the link, pick a time, and yeah, we can discuss how you can get overseas. I can tell you about my dating experiences. A lot of guys always want to hear about the dating experiences, and yeah, you can get overseas and have your own experiences, man. You can do things that you've been watching them on the internet, watching tons of YouTube videos about, but you can actually get over here and do it yourself. And by the way, I have a free Quickstart English Teaching guide in the pinned comment and description of this video. Click the link, put your email, the free guide will be sent to your inbox. It'll give you an overview of this English teaching field, the types of jobs you can work, countries you can go to, etc., the lifestyle you can live. If you look at my YouTube channel, I have a lot of videos just showing my lifestyle, the lifestyle of an English teacher. I even have a lot of live streams of myself teaching English on this channel. Just go to the live stream area, the English teaching playlist, making money online, etc. I have a lot of resources there for you. So yeah, guys, if you come overseas with the intention of putting in the work, becoming a better person, improving yourself, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. Your return on investment will probably get multiplied compared to what you're experiencing in the States. So I highly recommend you do that. Coming overseas with a productive mindset. Don't think that the end goal is just to get overseas and will be perfect. Getting overseas is a big step forward, but it's still one step on a ladder of getting better and better in life. And yeah, you can have the life of your dreams. Let's get overseas and get started. I'll see you guys in the next video.